Sometimes you have to know your limits and bring on an expert. So as hard as it is for me to admit, I'm not an elite showcase athlete. Enter Jennifer Muir. And I'm back talking about FitFest, admittedly sooner than usual. But if you did watch my last video talking about FitFest, you'll know that I just gave a general overview, what we expect to see at the event, the different things that will be there, why it is good to bring in other sports and the benefit that has for the event and for CrossFit as a whole. And I just touched on the Elite Athlete Showcase or exhibition. But what can we actually expect to see these athletes doing, these teams of 6, as part of this showcase? Because up until now, it's been shrouded in mystery. Well, I caught up with Jennifer Muir, who is part of Team Lawson at FitFest, and we had a chat about what's to come. We spoke about how she feels being part of a team of elite athletes. We go over a little bit of her CrossFit resume, so to speak, and she revealed a little bit about what we can expect to see the athletes doing at FitFest. Now, if you've followed this channel for any period of time, you know that I don't tend to do that many of these kind of interviews. Probably the last one was with Khan Porter, and that was some time ago. And that is me just excusing the fact that the audio is not going to sound the best, I'm afraid. Jen was recording on her phone in her car outside her house, and for some reason that sounds better than my mic recording here. And as well, we had a few interruptions with the signal. So I've cut things as best I can and tried to smooth it all out, so hopefully you'll still enjoy the interview. Let's head over now and have that chat with Jen. Well, thank you for joining me, Jennifer Muir. Got the name right?
You did.
There's some other names that I'm going to say later that also I'm a little bit hesitant about. So, Jen, obviously you are going to be a part of FitFest, this elite athlete showcase. How do you feel about being part of an elite athlete showcase? It's quite an impressive title.
Yeah, it's definitely something. If you asked me this time last year, I never would have thought I would have been part of. So it's kind of like a bit of a pinch me moment. I think the entire weekend for me, I'm just going to be like in awe of all the athletes. But I think I'm going to have like loads of opportunities to hopefully learn from them. Just being able to like see them warming up and compete alongside them and kind of their mindset towards the events and stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for me.
Yeah, I like that most people are going there like, oh, I'm going to go and watch the elite athletes. This is going to be fun. You're an elite athlete thinking, I'm going to just sort of stand in the
Yeah,
corner and just start scouting out. Oh,
watch the
oh,
athlete.
that's how they warm up. Interesting, interesting. So talking of
Yeah,
the elite teams, we've got 3 teams: Team Brandon, Runga, and Team Lawson. That's your team. So you are what Emma Lawson, yourself, and then you've got 2 times teen champion Lucy McGonigal.
yeah.
I'm really glad that you two are on the same team, to be honest, because you're probably the
Oh,
of the whole list of all the athletes, you're the 2 I've spoken to the most.
oh,
So if I've got any chance to sort of get in with the team and be friends, it's your team.
yeah,
Uh, then Nick Matthew, Enrico Zanoni,
yep,
and the Professor Brent Fikowski. That's quite a team.
yeah. It's very exciting.
So I think all right, I want to say something, and I don't want it to come off rude, but it might come off rude. But like, how do you
Don't
feel
worry.
with your name included among those names?
Yeah, it's like don't worry about asking that because when I first seen it, I genuinely thought it was like like school PE and the last kid in the team gets picked. I genuinely thought, oh, I've been 100% like the last name, and I've just been put in the team because I was the last person standing there. So don't feel bad about asking that. To be honest, I'm just like it's like as I said, it's really cool. Like we're I've got in like a group chat with him on Instagram. So it's all just like it's just like all these experiences that I've always wanted to kind of be part of since like joining the sport. It's like those experiences that you dream of type thing. So I'm just like soaking it all up and trying not to think about it being like, oh God, I'm in a team with like all these CrossFit Games athletes. I'm just like trying to flip that mindset and be like, wow, I'm in a team with all these CrossFit Games athletes, and like, what can I take from this opportunity that's going to help me in my own career? So yeah,
Yeah. I thought when you said you're going to flip it, I thought you're thinking, oh, they should think, wow, we get to be in a team with Jennifer.
Nah,
What?
not quite. Nah.
So if people that, I mean, because I haven't sort of been like trolling the comment sections and that, because I did wonder if, you know, as I'm saying, like, I don't want to be rude, but there are a lot of people on social media quite happy to be rude. So I didn't
Yeah,
know if
yeah,
you'd had a bit of kind of, who's this? Don't know who. I mean, a lot of people are quite sort of, they know their favorite five sort of
yeah,
athletes, and anyone not in that list, it's a bit of a, who's that? And I mean, even
yeah,
like Lucy, if you follow the teen competition, you know who she is. You know, she's won the last 2 years in a row, so she's, you know, a very impressive teen athlete. But if you don't care about the teen competition,
yeah,
who's Lucy? Um, but
yeah.
we know each other because about this time last year, we were talking quite a lot because you were one of the
Yeah,
podium athletes that didn't get paid from the European Championships. You came second, right?
good times. Yeah,
And but I mean, even that podium, like looking at it, like going back and looking at it now, you had Amy Kringle won, so I think the majority know who Amy Kringle is, and ooh, and Nicole Crouch came third. And then obviously this year, more people know
yeah,
who she is because, you know, she was hoping to make quite a splash with her team. And obviously, you know, Zach George went gladiator instead of going team. And that meant that sort of their journey ended. But it also meant a lot of people sort of
yeah.
started to know, oh, who's this? And then the next time I saw your name pop up was at semi-finals. You know, like, oh, Jen's made it to semi-finals. That's nice. And the European semi-finals was
Yeah.
stacked. I mean, that's a pretty incredible field. So event one, you take the win. I mean, how did that feel?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, totally unexpected. It's funny because obviously Europe was like one of the last semi-finals, so we had an opportunity to like practice the event. So I think on the day my time was like 23 minutes 40. But like 2 weeks prior, I had tested the event and I did it in like 22 and a half minutes. Obviously, like the sled being a bit different and transitions being a bit different and things like that. Um, but when I put up that time, and obviously I was watching like the other semi-finals, and I was thinking like, oh my god, I must have got this event completely wrong, because like I am finishing like 4 minutes ahead of all these amazing athletes. So I was like, our setup must be wrong. The sled must be wrong. Like it cannot be that I am finishing 4 minutes ahead of all these athletes. So even having practiced it, I didn't think like, oh, I'm gonna win this. Like, so going into the event, I just had like some really good strategies from like both my coaches, and that was just like constantly going through my mind the entire event, just like stuff to focus on, with my pacing and stuff. So I think like Emma McQuaid was in the lane next to me, and honestly, I never once was like looking at her and wondering where she was. I was just so focused on like, right, you have to hold 63 RPM on the assault bike and do not let it drop from that. And I was just so focused on everything like that. So yeah, I it was totally unexpected. I was just saying I enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, yeah, I bet you did. And it was less minutes for you than other people, so it's a little bit less enjoyment. But anyway, we won't talk about the second event because that didn't go quite as well. But you did also get what, a third place and a sixth place, I think. Were they the other two high finishes? So I mean, for if you know, if people are thinking, well, who is this? Like, they're very good finishes, especially considering the depth of field. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, you didn't make it through to the games, obviously. That's what this year's for. But you, but well, you finished 16th overall, which
yeah.
which is impressive. But I was looking because it's like I knew I was going to talk to you today. I went back and had a quick look at who was like, because it was top 11 that went through. So I looked from
Mm-hmm.
12 down to 20, and you've got like Jacqueline Dahlstrom, Torielga daughter, Sarah Sigmund's daughter, Amy Kringle. Like, that's not a bad group of athletes to be like in the middle of. So
Yeah.
all of that basically to say you've definitely earned your spot in the elite athlete showdown. So even if you don't think of yourself as an elite athlete yet, I think, you know, looking at kind of That's just been just two things. I don't know what else you've been doing. You've probably been any other like comps that I've missed that you sort of are particularly proud of?
No, I actually, so it's funny, last year was like my first year competing, so I just jumped on every competition going. So every competition I could sign up to and do, I did. But this year, I've I've not really done really any because it's just about focusing on next season and hopefully like tying in the weaknesses that I did have at semis. So even if I could keep like my strengths in those kind of top 10 finishes and then my weaknesses, if you know, as long as they aren't hopefully like at the very bottom of the pack like they were, even if
Yeah.
I could bring them up to like middle of the pack, then that would be great. So that's kind of what the focus has been on this year. And as much as I love competing, it does just take so much time out of training, you know, that kind of stop start. So yeah, it's been put aside for this year and focusing on next season.
Which is like the smart thing to do, obviously,
Yeah.
but it kind of adds again to sort of, you know, it maybe if people had seen you, I don't know, at the French Throwdown or in Madrid or something like that, then there'd have been a bit more whispers about your name. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to make a splash, probably FitFest and on this team is really the place to do it, I guess, because it's not. Well, what is it? This is the mystery.
So it's kind of like like an athlete showcase. So like we are gonna have a series of events over the weekend that are going to be like different. So some events will require us to work as a team of six. Some events will split off into like sub teams of two and threes, and all our scores are kind of going to be like combined over the weekend, and then it's like whatever team comes out strongest after the weekend.
Yeah. So when we booked this call, like I didn't know anything yet because they hadn't released any information. People were just
Yeah.
speculating. And I spoke to Ollie and I spoke to Lee and I was like, guys, you could let me know a little something. No, nothing. All secretive. But then today an email has gone out. So there are some small details released. What can you share then that's sort of not going to get you in trouble, but will give people
Yeah.
something to speculate on?
So on the Friday evening, we are taking on the Affex endurance workout in mixed pairs. So that's like the first event on the Friday evening. Prior to that, we're gonna all be involved in like a series of workshops. So if I'm involved in the endurance workshop, shock, and then there's like a strength. I think there's a strength workshop, and then also like a gymnastics workshop. So different athletes from different teams are all involved in that. So Friday evening, and then on the Saturday we have a workout with rope climb, handstand walk, double unders, and then a six athlete worm. So that's event one on Saturday, and then event two we've got some engine and gymnastic skills, where we're going to be in sub teams of three. And then on the Sunday we have some cleans and snatches. It says it's quite a bit of volume, and then it says let's see who can go heavy. So
Right.
that that'll be good. And then session two, it just says that they're testing us on our synchro skills, and the worm's going to be back out.
I mean, that's going to be interesting testing your synchro skills when you're going with athletes that you've not had the opportunity to like practice with at all
Yeah.
leading up to this. So and I'm just quickly like mentally checking off the list of the athletes on the other teams and thinking, oh, have any of these done sort of things together? Because I mean, like you've got Brent on your team and then Velna's on another team, so like they have done, you know, little team comps together, but they've
Mm-hmm.
been separated, you know, obviously
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. You can't have them together. So that'll be interesting. Have you guys done any sort of like Zoom workouts or anything together, or you're just going to turn up and sort of see how the chips land on the day?
Yeah, pretty much. We have a group chat for the important stuff like matching outfits, but apart from that, that's it.
Right. Well, it's good to know the important stuff has been taken care of
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah. So we'll look good. that might be it, but we'll look good doing it. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what, just 2 weeks ahead, more or less.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I mean, ready as I'll ever be. It'd be cool to like obviously get to practice things like a 6-man worm, but we're never gonna get that. So I think we're all as ready as we'll ever be.
But I guess the good thing is that like all the athletes are in the same boat. So,
Yeah,
as we said, these teams are really mixed. They're pretty random. I mean, well, random. They've been picked. We saw how that worked out. But I think, well, I guess I'd ask you then. So because you're saying you're quite new. I think that actually will have frustrated people when you're like, well, last year was my first year of competing. Like, oh, hold on, that's that's annoying that she's that good that soon. But when you think about like having this caliber of athlete being showcased here in the UK, I mean, have you got any thoughts on sort of, obviously you're a part of that, but you're quite new as well, so it's going to be, I guess it's the first time you're seeing any of these athletes compete in person. Not any, but the majority of these athletes compete in person. So how do you feel about that? And also, how do you think that could sort of help the UK CrossFit community in general?
yeah. I think it's like obviously all the big names are really kind of like with the like at the games and stuff. We've got a few like we don't have many from the UK. Most of them are out with the UK. So I think it's like really cool that they are coming to the UK, and I guess they've invited because I've got the fittest in the UK title for the year. I guess that's probably why they've invited me to because it's in the UK.
Yeah. Did they say you
So I
have
guess
to bring that with you as you come in? So,
yeah. Yeah, my friend was saying I should get like a belt, you know, get a belt that says it for the year. But yeah, so I guess that's why they've invited me to like the UK scene. But I think it would be really important for those athletes because we never have that in the UK. So I think it would be really cool for everyone in the UK. Because triple threat is on at the same time, so people will be competing and stuff. So it's cool that they get to be at the same competition as all these big names as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be really good opportunity that we don't ever get in like the UK scene.
yeah, because I think the last time was obviously during sort of the sanctional era, where you did have like at Strength in Depth and having in 1 year Matt Fraser and Rich Froning there, so Rich on a team, Matt competing as an individual. But then once we went back to this more geographic restricted sort of competitions, yeah, it's very rare to see some of these bigger names. That sounds mean saying bigger name, international bigger names.
Yeah,
Let's say there we go. We've got big names in Europe, but let's say a bit more international. I also think the fact that it's being done at an event where you've then also got the weightlifting and the rowing and affects, and as you said, triple threat. It means the showcase. Yes, it's maybe primarily for people that already care about CrossFit, but if you've got people that have gone for the weightlifting or gone for the rowing and they just happen to catch what's going on as well, having some of the best in the world there to kind of showcase it surely is going to kind of be a positive way to let people get that maybe their first experience of watching competitive CrossFit, at least watching it live. So it's nice.
yeah, definitely.
Nice that you get to be a part of it. Well, thanks so much for like having a little bit of time to just have a quick call. I just wanted to know what was going on. It's not true. I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to chat to you, Jen. It's been a while, but but I just thought it'd be nice to kind of hear your take on what's going on, because it is a unique thing. It's part of
Yeah.
what's quite a unique competition in itself, and this is sort of a. Is it fair to say it's kind of like the crown jewel in the FitFest show? I don't know. I think so. I think the impression I get.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Do you want to call your shot now? Do you think your team is going to win this event? Have you got 100% confidence that the matching outfits will carry you through?
I mean, I think I'm supposed to say yes, so I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I think any other answer could have got you kicked off the team.
Yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thanks for chatting. Thank you everyone that watched this part, and I'll probably throw over to the other Jason for like some concluding comments or something now. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, there we have it. Still a lot of unknowns, but when is that not the case with a CrossFit event? But it does seem like we have a nice mixed bag of things to watch. We're going to have those big team movements with the worm. We're going to get to see synchro work, which will be interesting considering these athletes haven't had the opportunity to train together. And it looks like a heavy barbell will be making an appearance too. But then reflecting on the conversation, it's nice to think as well that it's not just for us as spectators. It's a great opportunity for these athletes because they don't usually get to work out together, to team up for these kind of exhibitions. And it got me thinking, what other athletes would you like to see team up for this kind of an event? And what other events could make room to put on these kind of exhibitions? And is this something that we would like to see within the CrossFit space? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, this is a great opportunity for Jen to share the competition floor with these CrossFit Games athletes. At least until 2024, when we hope these athletes will have the opportunity to share the competition floor with her at the 2024 CrossFit Games. But until then, I guess FitFest is the next best thing.